Good evening, everybody. It's Monday, July 1st. Welcome to PreciseAlgorithmTrading.com. I should say July 1st, 2024. Um, it's also a new month and a new quarter. So let's dive in and talk about the markets, talk about our automated and our manual trading systems, and let's just start here. This is the Russell 2000. I'm sorry, the Dow futures contract, and we got a little pullback today. Last green dot was just a couple days ago, and so one trade that's a stop out. All right, the Russell I worked on over the weekend, and um, this is some of the best results we came up with, and it's it's a pretty good uptrend with not too bad a pullback actually. Um, I think it's a $4,000 pullback or something to that effect for all of the trades that we ran it through. So um, 7-1. So this one was actually good today. One stop out and one that took off. And then the Nasdaq, it's basically walking around in that upper zone that it just created. And when it typically does that, it's going to walk sideways for a while or even down a little bit. And we had pretty much, I think if you add all that up, it's a break even day. But that's okay. All right, our manual systems are over here. We're going to look at the S&P 500 here, which the actual S&P went up 14 points today, or 0.27%. The Dow went up 50 points, which doesn't look like that on that chart. It looks more like this. The it's down 50 points after market, or overnight, I should say. The Russell, we'll put it in the IWM, went down 0.84% today, and it's a gray candle over on the daily. It's still green on the monthly, and this is a consolidation zone. So I've called it out on the IWM as a flag, and there's the top of the flag and the bottom of the flag. That could be a dangerous pattern if it breaks down through. So still, like getting long here, the actual stop, if you're going to be working monthly chart, is it's got to turn red and close back below this blue line, which is roughly it's 3% from that gold line, or where the gold line, the gold line last month. This is the first candle of the beginning of the candle for this month. So if this is a bullish trend, so if the trend continues, the squeeze should help. Momentum's still positive. Momentum's still positive on the day. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to be watching it close because I don't really want to stay in if it just starts to give up. Even if it comes back, I can always get back in again. That's the Russell. The Nasdaq went up 146 points today. Overnight, it's down 65 points, but continues to walk in this zone. The transports, which we're going to look at, is IYT. Look like they're trying to get something up and going, but we do have negative momentum. We have negative momentum in the above zero on the monthly chart. We still got positive momentum on the daily, but we got a few things kind of in the way. So some overhead resistance with some of these lines. So, but there's potential for that thing to go up, and there you go. What else? USO oil is going higher, and it's running away from me. We'll see what happens. Actually did buy a position in this, I thought. No, I didn't. My bad. So, I tried to buy a position in this. That's what happened. I set a conditional order and it never got filled. Alright, and gold, GLD. I think gold's too toppy here for me, but it is still green. It's in an upward trend. However, you got all these big wicks on these candles on the monthly chart, and I'm not gonna get in front of it. Is that enough? TLT. That was long. This got out. I believe I got out today because we had a stop in place. But yeah, probably shouldn't have been long based on that chart. It's just I was trying to front run it. So, and that's probably enough. Let's look at Nvidia today. A little bit of a bounce. Nothing to write home about. That is a little bit of, I mean, that's a hammer candlestick, so. And then Apple. And Microsoft. Looks great. And then Tesla, which I believe has earnings. Somebody said something about earnings for Tesla. Now this is just the beginning of today's, or this month's candlestick, so you really can't buy into this. I mean, you can, but that's not a finished candlestick by any stretch. So the fact that it turned green just is literally one day into the month. We got 17 days until their earnings are announced. So that's interesting. QCLN. All right, that's a oldie but a goodie, and it was great, and then it has fizzled out now for months. It was great for months too. If you look at all it's a really nice stock or ETF when it pops. I think I saw Disney. Yeah, Disney's one I've been watching because it was. I mean, that if you think about impulse waves, that was an impulse wave and a pullback. And if we get another move, basically higher than 103.71. Then that's probably worth looking at for me. As long as it's not a red candle, and it wouldn't be at that point. So we do have a new sell signal on those two moving averages. Alright, that's enough with these. Let's look at the VIX. So let's look at the ES with the VIX. So we're in a sideways pattern on the VIX. it got a lot higher and then it pulled back. Uh, so now there is an old adage that's when the VIX is low, it's time to go. But the VIX can stay low for a long time, and that these things, when you look at that, I mean, there's also something called railroad tracks, and this is kind of looking like railroad tracks, and that's just a big consolidation pattern, made up of basically a lot of dojis, and they typically resolve to the upside. So, not always, but just like everything else in the market. And then put it all together, all the major markets, and that looks like a lot more like railroad tracks. So, until we see something else, I'm still expecting a higher market, even if it's just fractionally, especially also because of seasonality and this July tag here that we just got started, which I talk about every now and then. And then let's go finish this up at stockcharts.com and look at the bullish percent indexes. The industrials today didn't move. The NYA down 2.14%. The transports rolled over to a new column of O's and then some. It takes 3 boxes to roll over to a new column of O's, and this thing went down 4 boxes today, and it actually didn't register as a move. So the price moved down far enough and then pulled back up far enough. That shows you that volatility that we were just looking at. The Nasdaq down 1.05%. The S&P 500 down 4.78%. So there's some selling, or some really, this is just an indication of how much things are bullish versus bearish, and there's some bearishness coming into this. The S&P 100 down 4.35%, and then the Nasdaq 100 down 5%. So all in all, some pretty decent bearishness in this market. And even though we've got the FANG stocks that are in some ways just continuing to push this thing higher, or at least hold it up. And that is for now, at least. So until next time, take care, guys, and have a great night.